Hello, my collective. Let's go ahead and get some messages from Spirit. What does Spirit have to say to you? Any messages and or advice that Spirit's wanting to bring forward for you? As always, if you're interested in booking a personal with me, the link to that will be in the description box below. Today is the last day to use code Halloween. So if you want to book a reading with me and want that discount, use code Halloween at checkout. This is a collective message, so take how it resonates to you and your situation. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. What does my collective need to hear? We're going to pull 3 cards. What does my collective need to hear? What is Spirit trying to say to my collective? Okay, we had a card fly on out. We have remember that you can't change anyone but yourself. And I'm going to go even further with that and say even the only things like you can change your surroundings and yourself. And so if you feel like you need to change something, I feel like it's like change the surroundings, change the place is kind of what I'm really feeling. What has your inner voice been asking you? Listened and act. And then we have speak up and speak out. Let your voice be heard loud and clear. Okay, Spirit is telling you. And I kind of was saying it's like time to change some things. And so with this message, I really feel like there's a sense where it's like for some of you, it's time to change your surroundings, and not in a bad way. But I just feel like there's things around you where it's like you're not going to be able to change the way that other people act about a situation, or maybe even the situation itself. But you can remove yourself from the situation. You can remove your own energy and withdraw from it. Because I do feel like there's a sense where it's like you're not listening to yourself, but also others may not be listening to you either. And it's time for you to listen and act and let your voice be heard. Time to speak up for yourself. And so now could be a time where it's like it is time for you to speak out. It's time for you to be able to let your voice be heard, let your feelings be known when it comes into something specifically. All right, we have no more complaining. And then we have a raise or promotion. And I was already going to say, so with raise or promotion, this could go into a job situation where it's like you're not being appreciated somewhere. And it's time to let that go and really start opening up to a new situation, new job, new career, new path when it comes into that. Now, this could have just also, because this is collective, this could just be where it's time to change something about your surroundings. It's time to change something, okay? For some of you, this could be like making some changes to yourself, but I really don't feel like that's the case, okay? If it is, I feel like this is more of like it's time for you to kind of put the car in gear and start driving. It's time for you to start driving forward towards certain things, right? We can only, with this no more complaining, I feel like this is Spirit is saying like, you can only be upset about a situation for so long until you're willing to change it. And if you're not willing to change that situation, then you can't be open to being upset about it or holding that sense of upsetness towards this, if that makes sense to you, okay? And not in a bad way, right? I'm human just like you, so I'd be a liar to sit here and say that I don't complain about a situation, or I'm not frustrated about some things that I know I need to change or that needs to be changed, but I'm not willing to change them at the moment. And so Spirit is saying it's time for you to kind of make that decision to change, to make the changes. What is your inner voice, your intuition? What has that inner feeling kind of been trying to tell you, to motivate you into doing? It is time for you to speak up for yourself. It is time for you to speak out when it comes into situations. And some people may not like what you have to say, but I feel like you've been keeping it in for too long, and it's time for you to speak out for yourself, and especially when it comes into situations. Remember that you cannot change anyone or any other surroundings besides the ones, like when I say this, it's like there might be things, again, in your job, you may not be able to change them, but you can change your surrounding in this job. You can change whether you're going to continue to deal with this or if I'm going to step out. And that's kind of what I feel like Spirit is saying. It's like, I don't want you to be upset about it anymore. I want you to kind of rise above this, and it's time for something better, raise or promotion. It's time for some sort of expansion when it comes into this situation. Let's go ahead and pull some tarot. Oh, wow. And I didn't even look at this. It says, say goodbye to your past and leave the baggage behind for good. And so this could be a person, this could be a situation, but it is time for some expansion. And those bags that you've been carrying on, they don't need to be in your surroundings anymore. They don't need to be there. It's not where they belong. And I think that you've been feeling a change intuitively. And I think you've been keeping things in way too long because of the worry of like hurting someone else's feelings, or the worry of is this going to be okay? Is this going to work out for me? But it's time for you to make those changes in some way, shape, or form, okay? Let's go ahead and pull some tarot. What do you need to hear? We're going to pull some tarot cards. I'm going to pull 4 tarot. Okay, there's some things that have been burdening you, and it's time to let them go. Yeah. Some of you, this could be a relationship. This could be, it doesn't have to be, but I definitely feel like there's a sense here where it's like time for you to think about what's more compatible for you, because there's been a lot of things. I feel like there's been a lot of stuff that's kind of placed upon you, and this could be from family, relationships, work-wise, but there's been a lot of just like, again, baggage. It's time to leave some things in the past and allow them to go. And I said that at the very beginning, where it's like you can't change anybody but yourself and your surroundings. And so don't be willing to put up with things that just don't match you. Okay? And I think that there could be something where it's like with this coming forward, this could be another offer where it's like when you decide to speak up for yourself, when you decide to speak out, there could be something where it's like an offer or something intuitively that kind of like comes forward for you. But I feel like it's for the better. And I think that this could be where it's like a move of a situation or a change of a situation. And I really do feel like there's a sense of like spirit really working with you with this 3 of Pentacles. Spirit's really working with you to try to help you learn and grow from this, or learn and grow in general, because it's like I feel like you're holding on to burdens that you don't need to. It's like you're holding on to other people's baggage, that it's like you're carrying on their baggage, but why would you do that? Like I want you to think of yourself going through the airport, and it's like you have your bags and you're letting somebody else throw their bags on you, and they're just walking, with no baggage, with nothing, because it's like you're holding it all. And it's like, I wouldn't do that in real life. And I feel like that's what you're kind of looking at in the spiritual perspective, where it's like you're holding on to their baggage along the way. Like genuinely, I want you to think of yourself like walking through an airport, and it's like you hold your bags and someone else's bags, and maybe more than that, okay? You're holding on to all these bags, and you're struggling to kind of walk because it's so heavy, and those people are just kind of walking, dilly-dallying around because they don't have all this baggage to carry around, because you're carrying it for them. And that's really what I'm picking up on. And I feel like it's like you've been allowing this to happen for so long, and it's like, you feel frustrated about it, you feel a certain way, but it's like, so I feel like you're not willing to make the change for it. You're not willing to speak out for it, and not in a bad way, right? I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't the same way, or I didn't allow like, certain situations sometimes. But that's, I think, where Spirit's coming from. It's like, you don't need to be there. What is compatible for you? What does work for you? Okay? And I think that there's going to be like you're really feeling something intuitively, and it's like it's time for you to listen to yourself and act upon that. Let's go ahead and pull 3 more cards. 3 more cards. What else does Spirit have to say? And release that worry too. If you make those changes, like, well, what if I do this? What if I speak up for myself? What if I do this? I feel like it's like time for you to release that worry. Yeah. Oh my God. As I'm saying that, we have the Ace of Cups, the Magician, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. I was only going to pull 3, but 4 wanted to come out. So we have the Ace of Cups, we have the Magician coming forward, we have the Queen of Pentacles coming forward, and then we have the Page of Pentacles. I honestly feel like when you decide to put your foot down, new opportunities are going to present themselves, because, and I say this too, it's like, let's say, and I'm just going to relate this in a certain way because it doesn't have to be this way, but I feel like it's the easiest way to represent this, where it's like, let's say you're asking for a specific relationship, okay? And right now you're in a relationship of some kind, okay? Or you're kind of like messing around, you have a fling here, you have a fling there, okay? And it's like, well, you want to be treated or seen as in a certain light, right? But it's like Spirit sees you allowing X, Y, or Z to happen in your reality, and so it's like it's hard for that energy to come forward because we're not holding our ground, we're not standing our ground when it comes into a situation. And so I feel like once we decide to stand our ground and speak up for ourselves and put our foot down and stop kind of surrendering into certain situations, I feel like Spirit's like, okay, all right, I hear you. I see that you're putting action into this. I'm going to bring something forward for you now. Now, this could just be too, it's like after you decide to do that, like something pops up, but I do feel like there's like a sense of something new kind of coming in. intuitively or like physically, like you kind of running into this, but I feel like it's like you need to listen to yourself on this, and it's like, what is going to fulfill your cup? What is going to make you happy? And I do want to say with this magician here, it's like, if you believe like the magic is possible, if you believe that you're able to walk into somewhere compatible and stable and comfortable for you, and some of you this could be a job, and I kind of started out that way, where it's like this very well could be a job where it's like it's time to speak out, where it's like you have been doing everybody's work and people are trying to kind of like add more and more onto your plate because you're willing to do it. It's time for you to be like, no, like I'm not going to pick up everybody's work or do like this amount of work for the amount of pay that I'm getting. I'm working as, somebody's manager when I'm really just the employee. Like, if you want to give me that title, I'm more than willing to do this work, but you're not even giving me that title. And I do feel like there's like a sense there where it's like, put your foot down. And once you decide to do so, Spirit's like, okay, I hear you. And it's like, there's something here stable, like something new and stable coming in for you. Let's go ahead and pull 3 more cards before we end here. But I definitely feel for my collective spirits thing is like, you can change your surroundings. You can change what you're willing to put up with. You can't change what other people are willing to dump on you, but you can change what you're willing to put up with. And if you decide to put your foot down, a lot is going to change. Yep, because we have that star right here. I do feel like Spirit is here to help you, and that's like very clear. Yeah, there could be something new coming in, and I'm just gonna like start there is like, because we have this 6 of Pentacles, and so with the 6 of Pentacles, I feel like it's like giving. It's like finally somebody giving to you, and I feel like this could be Spirit or somebody else, where it's like finally like you're able to receive back in, because I've been giving and giving and giving and doing and doing and doing, and I just feel like there's so much on your plate. When you decide to dump everything off that plate that you don't need to do, okay? The only things that you need to do is make sure that you're taken care of. If you have kids, like your kids are taken care of, whatever. But I do feel like you have so much on your plate that doesn't belong to you. Dump those things off and see how empty your plate really becomes and how light those bags become, okay? Because I genuinely want you to think of yourself walking through the airport. Would you hold everybody's bags while they're just like not doing anything? They're just dilly-dallying around, walking free, nothing, and you're struggling to like drag 10 bags along. You're like, you're helping everybody else. You're not working for anybody else in this lifetime but yourself. And so I feel like that's what Spirit is saying, is it's time to put yourself first. It's time to really put your foot down. And when you decide to do so, things start happening for you, because it's like you're showing and proving like, no, like that's not going to happen any longer. I'm focusing on what's compatible for me. I know I deserve more than this, and I need to speak up for myself. And so this can go in a lot of different ways, but the collective that is watching this, it is time for you to let go of like all of that baggage that you hold on to and really speak out for yourself, okay? I am sending you all lots of love and light. I hope you enjoyed your message. Take care.